Have you wondered where the 3 most expensive neighborhoods are in San Jose? Are they rated well? And what are those prices? Well, stay tuned. We're going to get into the data and talk more about actual specifics. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman with HomeownerExperience.com, your local San Jose, California realtor. And today we're digging into some median price data for San Jose and neighborhoods within San Jose. And we're going to talk about which ones are the most expensive single family homes and condos. And then we're going to take a look at properties available, as well as get a sense of the areas and what sticks out about each area and maybe why it's so expensive. So let's go ahead, jump over to my screen, and we're going to look at the data that I've charted for median home prices. So as you can see here, I've got the San Jose median home price, which is this first column on the left. And then I've drawn a dotted line across. Orange is condos, blue is single families, condos and townhomes, I'll clarify. So the 3 most expensive areas for single family homes are Almaden Valley, Evergreen, and Willow Glen. That's alphabetical order, not in price order. Actually, Willow Glen is slightly higher price than Evergreen. And you can see on the top here what those values are. With the median, these are prices in October 2022. I did that for 2 reasons. The first is I did a video kind of contrasting this on the most affordable homes using October 2021 data, but also because October there's more sales. The latest data that I have available is actually December 2022, but there's just not as many sales in December. So I wanted to get a much better idea of the true median. When, in Almaden Valley, we only had like 10 closings. It's not a great range to get a feel for what's actually going on in the market. So I wanted to back it up to October when we do have a little more sales to get those numbers. And then also you can compare the affordable homes in 2021 versus the expensive ones in 2022. The point is, though, it doesn't really matter what the actual values are today. If you just want to get a sense of relative to each other, that doesn't change that much. So those top expensive neighborhoods tend to be the ones in San Jose that are always the most expensive. Now, of course, if we look outside of San Jose, I did take a snapshot at Campbell and Santa Clara, but the most expensive areas outside of San Jose are Cupertino, Saratoga, Los Gatos, for sure, hands down, unless you go up the peninsula further. But now let's dig into this San Jose data. So if we look at Almaden Valley, the median home price for single family homes in October was over 2.1 million. In Willow Glen, 1.885 million, and in Evergreen, just under 1.8 million. So as you can see, Almaden Valley sticks out a little bit on the chart, and then Evergreen and Willow Glen are much more comparable range. And let's see, one of the reasons why these areas stick out, I'm going to say, is schools. Now, Willow Glen isn't necessarily known for schools, but Evergreen and Almaden Valley definitely known for schools and known for a little bit larger, newer properties than general San Jose. So those are reasons why they stick out. Now let's look at the condos. If you look at the stars here, I've highlighted where the most expensive condos are. And they're actually, again, in Almaden Valley, which is the top one. Almaden Valley, it's mostly townhomes. There isn't really any condos, but there is a lot of townhomes. In Campbell is the second place, and Santa Clara comes in the third place. So those are both really outside of San Jose. If we stay within San Jose, you see Berryessa is the next one. And I talked about that in the most affordable video, which I'll link up above, because Theresa has a lot of new development going on in the condo and townhome market. So that tends to be above the median home price for those types of properties, but below for the single family homes. So that's an interesting thing to just keep note of as far as areas go. So let's dig into these areas a little bit more. And by the way, I'm getting this data from my website, San Jose Market Real Estate Stats, and we're always going to have charts and videos, and we're going to share the actual local data. But let's dig into Almaden Valley. So here we're looking at properties available for sale today. This is early to mid-January. And so these are some properties that are available. We've got a range. Here's a condo that's actually at Almaden Lake, here at the end. That isn't actually 95120 Almaden Valley, but is definitely Almaden Valley feeling. And so that is a condo area right here around Almaden Lake. There are several condos. Back in Almaden, there are only townhomes. So 1.8, 1.88, 1.7, 1.2 for, wow, but it's on Redmond, which is a busy street. But if you look back here, we've got around the Country Club, 2.45, 2 million. Here's a 3 million. So definitely, and then a 3.6 million, 2.9 million. So the larger homes and the newer build construction in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s is way back here in Almaden Valley. That's where some of those more expensive homes are, as well as up here on the hills, the properties with the views. So back here behind the country club and up on the hills is where we're going to see the most expensive. So the median is kind of balancing out those two different markets. Now, if you want to look just quickly for rent and what you see, let's look. We've got kind of a huge range. I mean, back here, $10,000 a month. Many of the properties are $5,000 a month or more. Here's even one that's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,700 square feet, asking $6,800 a month. So rents are pretty expensive, but definitely if you want to be around Almaden Lake, you can get things much more reasonable. And you still get the benefits of living in Almaden Valley. Now, here's Area Vibes, which is a website that talks a lot about livability and crime rates and different things. So they give Almaden Valley a livability score of 76. And yes, prices are higher. The cost of living is higher. It says rental prices are lower, which is interesting. I'm not quite sure why that is. But they give a little bit different variety of properties as well. But the livability is quite interesting. So if I pull up the livability, here is the actual scorecard. This is kind of a cool thing. Amenities, it gives a great. Crime, it's a B. Employment, great. Housing, maybe availability and cost, we do bad because it's expensive, right? Schools are really well, and users are saying excellent, A-. So let's talk about Willow Glen. Let's dig into that one. It is the number 2 as far as most expensive parts of San Jose, right? So here we've got single family homes for sale. Now you'll notice here in this section and over here in Dry Creek are more expensive. This is Dry Creek, sorry, more expensive homes. And that is where we're going to see, look at this one at $4 million. So we've got quite a few properties. This one's been totally redone. It's really beautiful and 3,800 square feet. So you see some of those really nice fancy rebuilds in Willow Glen. You also see homes with character, and you can find really small homes like 2-bedroom homes. So there is a huge variety in Willow Glen, but a lot of beautiful properties as well. If we quickly look at the rents are going to range, it looks like in the $3,000 to $6,000 plus range. So huge variety. Now I'm just looking at condos, townhomes, and single families. I'm not looking at apartments, for example. So let's look at the Area Vibes score for Willow Glen. So it gives it slightly lower at a 72. The crime rates, I say, are a little bit better in Willow Glen. The cost of living isn't quite as bad of a difference. Now here's a scorecard. Amenities, again, great. Crime, it's giving a D. Employment, not as high. It's interesting. I wonder why that is. But schools is where Willow Glen kind of doesn't do as well as those other top, most expensive neighborhoods. So that is one of the reasons why maybe that score is a 72. So now let's look at the last one of Evergreen. Now, Evergreen definitely has a lot of variety as well. You'll notice in like the Silver Creek Country Club area, there is quite a few very nice expensive homes, 3 million range. Here's one at 7.5 million. So this is going to top off the market right now as far as an estate goes. Every so often we'll see an estate in Almaden, but most of the time they're in the $4 to $5 million range. So if you're looking for a really fancy executive estate, Silver Creek and Evergreen is the place for that for sure. So here is a gorgeous property with views. It's 8,700 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 6 baths. So it's just really, really, really huge. So that is a interesting pocket here. You also get the Villages, which is a 55 plus retirement community. So you're going to see condos and townhomes much lower price in that Villages neighborhood. But great place to retire because it's beautiful over there. There's a lot of newer homes around. It's a gated community with a lot of different lower cost housing options. So if we look at rentals, let's go to rent just to get a quick range. We're going to see kind of the same thing. We're seeing $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range and a couple above that as well. So closing this up, let's look at the Area Vibes, which by the way, if you love this content, please comment. I'd love to hear your feedback and content. And if you have questions, comment below. That would be amazing. And if you need help learning more about these different areas, I'm here to help. I love helping my viewers. So please text me or book a time at the calendar link below where we can meet. You can text me at 408-839-4196. Okay, so back to Evergreen. Evergreen has a livability score of 73. So it's slightly better than Willow Glen according to that number, But Almaden is topping off that rating because it was 76. So just to give you an idea and a variety, right? So still a really good, strong livability score. And the cost of living in Evergreen is saying 6% higher than average. I mean, and that's kind of because Evergreen has a huge range of properties, just like Almaden Valley. There are some smaller, older homes, and then there are these large estates, right? So this is probably more of a general or volume perspective. But let's look again at this livability score. So this is interesting. It gives the scores a C. Now there are several pockets around the Silver Creek Country Club and other areas where the scores are really great and top rated schools. So I don't agree with this school rating here. Users are saying it's an A+. They're actually rating it above Almaden Valley technically. Amenities good, cost of living not so good, crime is better, employment. So, exactly how they come up with these, I don't know, but Evergreen, it says it's ranked number 4 in San Jose. It is definitely one of the top neighborhoods to live, but it is one of the most expensive. So these most expensive neighborhoods tend to be very desirable, which holds their prices high. And there are reasons behind that. Schools, the types of properties, the neighborhoods that are in and around there are really desirable. So I hope you really enjoyed this content, and I hope you got some value out of it and enjoyed taking a look at that sneak peek fancy estate in Evergreen. I'm Theresa Wellman. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to connect with you to figure out which neighborhood is the best for you. Maybe it's not one of those most expensive, but rather one of the most affordable or somewhere in between. Thanks for watching.